Good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to our Municipal Council meeting for Tuesday, December 17th, 2019. I'd like to welcome everybody this evening and call this meeting to order. I would ask if there's any declarations of interest at this time. Seeing none, I will move to presentations. And my agenda does not have any presentations. Is that correct, Mr. Clerk?
Correct, Madam Mayor.
Thank you very much. And likewise with deputations.
That is correct.
Thank you very much. We're down to item E, and that's committee recommendations, and that's pages 5 to 8. Are there any questions on that? Could I have a mover and a seconder? Moved by Councillor Carruthers, seconded by Councillor Persuccini. Any questions? All those in favor? And that's carried. The next item is adoption of minutes. Yes.
Before adoption of minutes, Madam Mayor, we have recommendations from CWC today. We have a total of 9 recommendations. We can put them on the screen for you.
Thank you.
And again, you can adopt them all together or separate them as you wish.
What's your pleasure, members of council? Would you like them all together or would you like them individually? Together, moved by Councillor Carruthers, seconded by Councillor Foster. Just have a chance to have a look at them all. Are there any questions? All those in favor? And that's carried. Item F is adoption of minutes. And on our first page of our council, we have November 25th, November 27th, and December the 2nd, and that's pages 9 to 33. Would you like them collect together? You'll move them all. Thank you, Councillor Persuccini, seconded by Councillor Crone. All those in favor, and that's carried. We have budget minutes in our next resolution, committee minutes from the meetings of the 25th, the 27th, and the 2nd, same ones.
Sorry, Madam Mayor, those were already passed.
Thank you.
You're on to Committee of the Whole,
Number
December
4.
3rd, Special Council, December 3rd, and Council, December 3rd.
Thank you. Committee of the Whole, December 3rd, and Special Council meeting on the 3rd, pages 34 to 46. Could I have a mover and a seconder, please? Councillor Persuccini, Councillor Morton. All those in favor? And that's carried. And item number, let's see, covered all of those. We're down to item G. And that's correspondence for consideration. And the first one is a letter from Honorable Caroline Mulroney, congratulating the town for receiving the Healthy Water Award from the Lake-Simcoe Region Conservation Authority. And that goes back to our staff and the hard work that they did for that. So congratulations to staff, and it's nice that our provincial member of parliament is recognizing that as well. Have a mover and a seconder, please. Councillor Persuccini and Councillor Foster. All those in favor? And that's carried. The next item I have is page 58 to 63, and it is a letter from the Regional Municipality of York Regional Police Services Board, and it is regarding recovery of policing costs associated with dismantling of properties used in illegal production of controlled substances, and the correspondence from the Regional Municipality of York regarding recovery be received, and the council forward the correspondence to staff for reporting back. Are there any discussions? Perhaps I could have a mover and a seconder first. Councillor Crone and Councillor Persuccini. Perhaps I could give just a little bit of background on this one. We have had in our municipality the dismantling of illegal productions of controlled substance, and both our emergency services and York Regional Police were on site for quite a lengthy time to clean it up. and unfortunately, and our other staff as well. And unfortunately, there's no way for us to recover the costs of that from the landowner. And so this is a suggestion from York Regional Police Services Board that we have staff take a look at this and set up a bylaw that will allow us to put it on the tax roll and make sure that we can recover it both for our use as well as York Regional Police. So I would expect that this would be forwarded to staff for a report back in the new year. I don't think that there's a rush. However, perhaps we're not meeting until the 21st of January, I think. So if there's a possibility of that perhaps emergency services could work along with staff on that as well to make sure that we've covered all the angles. Any questions? All those in favor? And that's carried. Thank you. Item H are reports, and number 1 is Corporate Services Finance Report, 2020 proposed budget plan and business plan and budget. It's pages 64 to 73. Could I have a mover, Councillor Morton, and a seconder, Councillor Crone? Is there any discussion? Councillor Morton.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I would just like to thank the team of Mr. Valchich, Warren, Val, and Carolyn for all of the work that they put into doing this budget this year. I know that the hours and hours and hours that they spent were lengthy and came to a good result in the end, and also to the rest of the staff who also had a lot of input into this. And I think they've done an amazing job, and they deserve the recognition, at least from their chair, and I'm hoping from other members of council too. So I would, Madam Mayor, like to call for a recorded vote on this.
Are there any questions? Do we have a mover and a seconder? Do we have a mover and a seconder? Yes. Mr. Webster.
I believe there was some discussion, Madam Mayor, about some additional radar words and signage, and maybe I'll defer that to the treasurer. I think it was a relatively minor request that was part of the discussion process.
Mr. Velchuk.
Madam Mayor, there was some discussion during the deliberations about some additional radar boards that could be used in the community. It did not get explicitly documented in the proposed budget that you've got before you this evening. However, we've talked to Mr. Mulroney, and there's agreement that we can proceed with that capital initiative, and we'll simply find that within the approved budget. So there's no need to make any amendments to the proposed budget, and Mr. Mulroney will report back at the appropriate time on the boards and sort of their impact in the community, etc.
Thank you. Councillor Crothers.
Thank you. I would like to bring an additional motion in, and I'll defer to you whether we want to pass this and then have this one afterwards. But it's regarding the summer mosquito control program, and what I quickly put together is that the pilot program for ongoing summer mosquito control, in addition to the one-time spring application, representing such a small fraction of our budget but such a large potential quality of life issue for our residents, be brought back to council to revisit when in-year savings are such that this program can be piloted without an increase to the tax burden of our residents. It's fine to massage that as you see fit, but I'm wondering if you'd like to pass. I don't want to miss my opportunity, so I'm thinking we want to pass this and add that afterwards.
I think the budget before us first, and then if there's anything following, then we could introduce it at that time.
Wonderful. I just don't want to miss my opportunity.
Yes, I hear you. Councillor Crone.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and through you to staff. I just want to thank you for capturing the radar signs. It's an important feature for community safety, and I know there's been a lot of support here on. I think it's all unanimous support in council for these signs, and I appreciate your flexibility in finding the savings in the existing budget. So I appreciate that. I'm glad we didn't let it pass. We should have properly motioned it when we were in the middle of discussions, but I appreciate your indulgence. Thank you.
It's very important. So with that, I believe we have a mover and a seconder, and I believe that there was a request for a recorded vote.
Through Madam Mayor, Councillor Morton has requested a recorded vote on the budget resolution posted on the screen before you. Councillor Morton, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councillor Persuccini, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councillor Ward Clemente is absent. Councillor Crothers, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councillor Crone, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councillor Foster, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mayor Haxton, how do you vote?
Yes.
Motion's carried. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm conscious of you wanting to have a discussion at this point, so we'll have your discussion, and then I would ask if members of council would like to speak about the budget that we have just passed. Then this is our opportunity to do so. So go ahead, Councillor Crothers.
Wonderful. So the motion that I'm proposing, as I've just read out, is about looking for in-year savings so that we can pilot this program. There's a big difference between the one-time spring drop that's done and this program that's ongoing. As chair of CIES, I've had many discussions with staff about this and the potential that this program has, and I'm not sure that we've had a really in-depth enough discussion with council to understand the potential that this program has. And so all I'm requesting is that when there's a point in time, obviously before we get into the summer period, where there's in-year savings, that we relook at this. At that time, we could say no, but I'm just asking that it be brought back in a timely fashion so we can revisit it and ask some more questions about this program. Because I know the discussions I've had with staff, it's a very, very good program. And I think we'd be doing our residents a good service to be piloting it.
So you're moving that motion?
Yes, I am.
Thank you. Is there a seconder? Thank you. And all those in favor? Opposed?
Stop.
Opposed? That's carried.
Thank you.
Okay, now if people would like to take this opportunity to speak to the budget, we certainly have time, and it would be a shame to not talk about the amount of time that's been spent on this and pass it very quickly. Councillor Persuccini, I believe you were interested.
Yes, I just want to make a comment. I worked with the team for 4 years, and I know how much work is involved, and I just wanted to again echo what Councillor said, Kathy, and that they deserve a big applause to. And thank you very, very much. I think what it worked better this year, if you correct me if I'm wrong, Mark, to have us come in and talk about the budget prior to that, ask any questions, and we spent a lot of time coming in and out, and I think that worked really well. Make it easy for us to understand it, because there's so many numbers, and you're the experts. So again, to Caroline and everyone involved and yourself, and thank you so much for doing the hard work and making it easy for us. Thank you.
Councillor Foster?
Again, I'd like to echo the thanks to staff. I think it's very important that we can sit as a council, being live streamed, and have good discussions, both for and against certain things. And I also have to thank staff for the amount of time that we were able to have discussions outside the council chamber to understand how the budget works and how everything goes. So it was a very satisfying experience again for me. This is the second budget I've gone through. I think the third and fourth one will certainly be a lot easier than the first two, and The experience I've gained going through it so far is priceless, so thank you.
Councillor Crone?
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and to staff. I appreciate all the hard work and effort put into it. I know no resident likes taxes, but that's how we fund ourselves, and they're a part of a necessary evil. It's the old expression: death and taxes are the only two things you can count on, except death doesn't get worse. So 2.8%, I think, is a good number to land on. I know other municipalities are taking much higher, and so we should not strain our arms too much by patting ourselves on the back. But a lot of hard work has gone into that. We've exercised good fiscal management over the years, and it shows. Other municipalities don't, exercise that. They do so at their own peril. We've seen other towns and cities get into trouble because they put it off. Well, eventually you have to pay it. Toronto today just passed a bill to increase their budget. They finally come to the recognition that they've kept it too low for too long. And so I think it's important that we recognize that, and that we continue to make strategic investments in our town. And I'm certainly happy with some of the investments we're making in the town and in our ward. The downtown revitalization is part of that, and that was important for me to support. And I think it needs to be said that the town staff need to be congratulated for finding the efficiencies that you found. I think give an example of the municipal insurance program that we have. We've saved thousands of dollars with that by going to market, and that's amazing. So I would say to you, as I used to say to my staff, finding efficiencies, it's not an annual event, it's a mindset. And I think you guys have that. Let's keep it going. And again, thank you so much for this. This is a good budget. And I'm so happy that it was a unanimous vote too, that we're all on board. Thank you.
Councillor Crothers?
Thank you. I'll echo the comments of my colleagues. The amount of time that was put into this budget, it shows. Every question we had, you had an answer right away, and we appreciate that. We put a lot of trust in our staff when we pass a budget like this, because we really don't know how much it costs to fill a pothole or exactly how many potholes there are. But you break it down for us in a way that we can understand it. You answer our questions when we drill down, so that increases our trust in you. This is your full-time job, and you know the cost of each of these things, and you explain it very well to us. I appreciate how much you listened to our concerns throughout the year, and those were reflected in the budget, as well as during the budget's deliberations. You listened to us and made those adjustments accordingly. There was so much work done in each individual department to bring their own department in at balance or just a slight increase. And I look forward to next year having our own council budget come in like you guys have. You've really set a good example. It's also not just a balanced budget that's important, but it's also a responsible budget. It's easy to cut. But at the same time, we have to think about going forward. And sometimes if you cut something, Mr. Mulroney and I have lots of discussions about roads. And if you aren't maintaining your roads, it ends up costing you more in the long run. And I think this budget shows that sort of foresight, that we're thinking about keeping up all of our assets to make sure that we don't end up paying more in the long run. And echoing Councillor Crone, the efficiencies that we keep finding and honing in on make a big difference. The service level increases are going to make a big difference to the quality of life for our residents. And I think at the few dollars a month that the increase is, it's money well spent. And I think our residents are getting great value out of this budget. So thank you very much.
Councillor Persatini? Jen? Okay. Let everybody speak. I just wanted to take a couple minutes as well. As we all know, budget planning began many months ago with staff putting together their budget request for 2020. This year's budget process was an exercise in long-term fiscal planning. It was about looking at our residents' needs and ensuring we are planning for the future and that residents will have the services they need while ensuring we continue to align the tax rate for our base programs and services with the rate of inflation, which is ultimately about respecting our residents' bottom line. Through our budget committee meetings, council was able to bring the proposed tax levy increase down from 3.6 to 2.8, while ensuring we invest in the right projects at the right time. I'm very proud to announce that this budget continues to maintain our debt-free status, and we continue to have the lowest relative taxes in East Gwillimbury. This is something we should all be quite proud of. We are able to do this while ensuring we maintain our multi-year community safety strategy and putting a provision in place for the operations of our new health and active living plaza, which will feature a service level increase for our residents with our first ever aquatics facility and a new library location. I again remind our residents that the facility will be paid for through development charges and not taxes. Some of the exciting projects our residents can look forward to in this budget are $1.3 million of road rehabilitation work and $200,000 for sidewalk repairs, bridge repairs on Oriole Drive, construction of a sidewalk along Highway 48 in Mount Albert, and paving of the Nokita Trail parking lot at Yonge Street and Mount Albert Road. Phase 2 of the renovations to the Mount Albert Library branch, which will include designated quiet space for businesses and residents. The development and an update to the town's official plan, which provides an overview of growth within the town, and we know we're going to do more of that. Some very exciting projects which I look forward to seeing in 2020. I'd like to thank staff for their hard work preparing the budget, which is a lengthy process, particularly the people that are sitting out in front of us here today. But I realize when you are here, there are people behind the scenes also continuing to work. So please thank them as well for their efforts. I also extend thanks and congratulations to our council on this, our second budget approval in 2019. Thank you. With that, we will go to resolutions, and I don't believe we have any. I have no bylaws listed at this time. I have one item for other business at this point, and it is a memo that I received from the York Region Food Network Winter Fresh Trivia Challenge, and they're asking if the Town of East Gwillimbury can put a team in. We've done it in the past, lots of fun, very informal evening, and it is going to be at the Cardinal Golf Club on January 31st, 2020. If anybody's interested in signing up, I believe we need a team of 5, then please let us know, and we'll get out there and work hard for our food network and have some fun with our colleagues. So I just send that out to everyone, and you can mull it over the holidays. And with that, I'm at a confirming bylaw. Could I have a mover and a seconder, please? Councillor Crone, Councillor Morton, all those in favor? It's carried, and an adjournment at 7:23. Moved by Councillor Crothers, seconded by Councillor Foster. All those in favor? And that's carried. Everyone have a wonderful holiday. Be safe, and we'll see you in the new year. Thank you very much.